3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hi everybody and welcome to Mission Control for a feature-focused video. In today's video we're going to talk about the remote. With the addition of an external wireless access point, the console can be remote controlled using Wi-Fi from an Android or iOS mobile device such as a smartphone or tablet. This can be invaluable when rigging, testing, and focusing. You can also run and store palettes as well as run playbacks from the remote. You can connect multiple remotes to the console and the console itself remains functional while the remote is connected. Each remote has a separate programmer so an operator can continue to work on the console while another user programs or updates palettes on the remote. The remote function operates using the Avolites remote app on the mobile device. This can be downloaded from the Google Play or the Apple App Store. Make sure you install the correct version of the app to match the console software version. There are different apps for each version. All you will need to do is make sure the console is on the same network and IP subnet as your mobile device. The app will automatically detect all the consoles on the network. The network needs to be set up correctly for the remote to see and connect to the console or mobile T2 or T1 wireless. It is better to use a wireless access point rather than a router, as this often has better talk between the wireless side and the Ethernet ports, allowing the remote to function with the console. IP subnet the console and the remote device need to be on the same IP range. This can be accomplished in two ways: DHCP or setting statics on all devices. DHCP is the easier setup, as setting static IP on an iOS or Android device can be quite a pain. If using a console with two Ethernet ports, it's best to connect the WAP to one and use ArtNet or Streaming ACN devices on the other. If using a console or computer with only one Ethernet port and using Streaming ACN or ArtNet devices, you may need to set the wireless access point's DHCP server to use the 10 dot or 2 dot range of IPs to allow everything to connect, or use static IPs on everything. Security. You should engage the wireless access point security with a password, and if using during a show, hide the SSID to prevent all the other phones in the room trying to connect to it, causing you issues. When using the PC suite, Titan Mobile, Titan Go for the T1, T2, or the simulator, the following is important to note. Firewall, you should make sure that the application, Mobile, Titan Go, and Sim you are using is set to allow traffic on either the public or private networks. This depends on how you have set it in Windows. By default, the Wi-Fi is public, Ethernet is private. I allow traffic on both when first launching Titan after an install. Or you may wish to just disable the firewall if you're still having trouble seeing the console from the remote. If the computer you're using for the PC suite has wireless, it can also be used to connect to the wireless access point and use the remote over wireless only. Speed, this is for all consoles. The speed of your wireless access point matters. Faster is better, especially when making position palettes or updates to them. So let's see that in action. As you can see here, I've got the Titan Go interface up running version 13, as well as the version 13 remote connected to my wireless network on both. And we see here on the remote it shows the Titan Mobile with its IP. The emulator is just a basically a test so you can play with the remote without actually being connected to the console. Down at the bottom of the remote we've got the network settings, so we can see what our IP address and subnet mask are on the remote. If we go into our system settings on our console, so we go System, Network Settings, and since we're connected to Wi-Fi, we can check it here, and we see that the IP address is in the same range as our remote, and the subnet mask is the same also, so this will work for our setup. So we can exit out of our system menu here. Now to connect the remote to the console, I simply click on the Titan Mobile itself on my list of consoles, and it starts to load the show. How long it takes depends on the size of your show file as well as the speed of your wireless network. So you can see now that it's loaded my show, and the first thing it goes to by default is going to be my fixtures page. So you see here it went to my first page of fixtures. If I click on the sidebar here, I can select through my different pages. So I go to my dimmers, my back wall fixtures, my Q-picks, my rigs, whichever fixtures I need to get to. If I click on the Groups tab, I can go to my different groups, which I believe I only have on one page in this show file, and that is correct. But I can see my different groups here and select them as I needed. And if we click on my palette tab, I can see my position palettes, my color palettes, and my beam palettes. If I click on Q, it will show I'm able to play back cues that are in my playbacks workspace window. So if you see here on the console, I have these playbacks in my playback workspace. That's also what I have on my remote under cues. If you wish to have a playback that is on your faders be able to be fired from the remote, you will need to copy the playback from your fader to the playbacks window, such as this. So if I go ahead and click copy and then click on this playback here and then click in my playbacks workspace, we can see that it automatically shows on my remote and can now be fired from the remote by clicking on it. And we can see that it is running now. And if I click on it to turn it off, it stops running. If I go to my groups tab, we can see that I can select any group in here, and we'll go ahead and select our BMFLs. And then up top, I have all, highlight, previous and next, record, undo, clear, and locate. So obviously if I click locate, it will locate the fixtures. If I go to my position palettes, I can then click on that palette and see that my fixtures will go to that position. If I go to my attributes, intensity, position, color, gobo, beam, effects, and special here, if I click on position, I am then given the wheels for pan and tilt, so I can tilt my fixtures if needed, as well as pan them. If I go to color, I can go to the different colors if I need to. I can decide magenta and yellow. I can dial in cyan on my fixture or dial it back out. I can then also hit clear to clear out my fixture selection. If I go back into group, and we'll select our Ruby spiders this time and go ahead and locate those. If I can also use the highlight function, put them in highlight, and then use previous and next to select between the fixtures as needed. Just like the highlight function works on the console itself. I can also turn it back off. If I go to my position attribute, I can tilt my fixtures. As well as pan them. Say I like this as a position palette, I can then click over to my palettes. I then hit record and an empty palette box. I then give me the opportunity to give it a name. I can either do text or picture. I'll just draw a picture real quick. And then click done and then hit record. I can see here that the palette is recorded on the remote as well as on my console. I can do the same thing with colors if I so chose. If I go to colors and change the color of the fixtures, see here, we'll make them a nice green by turning down red and blue. And turning off white. Then go to my color palettes, press record, then an empty box of my colors, and I can just simply hit record instead of giving it a legend. And we see that it just labels it palette 69 on our remote. And if we go to our console and scroll down in our colors, we can see it added it there. One thing to note, as I said before, that the console and the remote have separate programmers. So if I was to leave the application, we can see that my fixtures are still located and in green. If I wanted to get rid of that, if I hit clear on my console, we can see that it doesn't do anything. If I press and hold clear, or right click on the PC suite, then the bottom soft key will say clear all programmers. So I click that, see it cleared the programmer from the remote, even though I wasn't in the remote. I can then go ahead and reconnect to the Titan Mobile by clicking on it again and allowing the show file to load. If I wanted to update a palette, such as a position palette, first I would want to go ahead and go to my fixtures and select them. We'll go ahead and do our BMFLs and locate them, and then go to our position palettes and fire one of the palettes. And then let's go ahead and make the changes we need to So we'll say that we just want to tilt these down more like this. And then I go back to the palettes, press record, select the palette, and then I'm given the option to merge or replace. In this case, I will merge. Now if I locate the fixtures and fire the lead singer palette, we can see it is updated to the new position. This of course also saves on the consoles. So if I was to clear the remote and then select the same fixtures on Titan, locate it, and hit the lead singer position palette, we can see that it is updated here also. The remote for Android. Avolites has made effort to improve the reliability of the Titan remote app on Android devices for version 12. While testing improvements to the app, we discovered a bug in recent versions of the Android operating system, which can cause instability and difficulty in connecting to a console. This bug has been reported to Google and is under investigation, but until it is fixed, users may continue to experience instability when connecting to Titan. Unfortunately, there is nothing more we can do to mitigate the issue within the Titan software, as when present, the bug prevents any direct communication between the local devices on a network. Whilst this bug in Android is present, users will need to follow the following steps to successfully connect to a Titan console. Force stop the Titan version 12 or 13 remote app if it is running. Download a Terminator app from your app store. Disable mobile data. Connect to the Wi-Fi network in which your console is connected. Open the terminal app and execute the command ping and the IP of your console, substituting the correct IP address of the console. You should see the console responding with responses that look like this. 64 bytes from the IP, ICMP sequence equal 1, TTL equal 128, time equal 3 milliseconds or similar. Now open the Titan remote app. Your console should appear in the list of available devices within approximately 10 seconds. If this bug affects you, we would encourage our users to star the issue on the Google issue tracker to indicate to Google that there is user interest in this issue. Titan remote for iOS devices is not subject to this bug. And here's the link to the Google issue tracker. There's also a PDF of this issue from Avolites. Both these will be in the video description. This has been how to connect a remote device to your Titan console to be able to use it for focusing, updating palettes, or just creating new ones. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and see us next time. Bye.
We'll stop.
Roger, we'll stop Discovery. Welcome back. A great ending to the new beginning.